Here the council chamber of the Galactic Concord was silent, a silence so thick it weighed on every chest, suffocating the murmurs that usually fill the grand hall. Delegates of 24 species sat frozen, their eyes, compound, faceted, slitted, or luminous, locked on the trembling figure at the center podium. Ambassador Verth, a representative of the Shari Dominion, clutched the edges of the speaking platform with all four of his hands. His mandibles clicked involuntarily, betraying the deep tremor in his thorax. He had just returned from Earth, and what he had seen there would haunt him until his final molting. Hashtag, the horror revealed. I believe the humans primitive. Verth began, his voice a broken rasp. Their world is young. Their colonies barely extend beyond their moon. Their fleets are minuscule compared to the Concord's navies. We thought them weak, untested, harmless. His eyes darted across the chamber. I was wrong. He tapped a control rune, and a holographic projection appeared. First showing Earth, its blue oceans and swirling white clouds, then shifting to a montage of archival footage he had smuggled from the humans themselves. Observe. These are records of their own wars fought not against other galactic powers, but against themselves. The chamber gasped as mushroom clouds blossomed in sequence. Entire cities vaporized, firestorms consuming horizons, shockwaves flattening mountains. These weapons, nuclear devices, they call them, are not theoretical. They have used them on their own kind. Entire populations erased in seconds. The delegation from the crystalline Drillians recoiled. Impossible, one whispered. No species would risk such annihilation. Verth's mandibles clicked violently. Humans did, and that was centuries ago. Those were their early weapons. Hashtag beyond comprehension. The hollow shifted again. Grainy footage gave way to modern recordings, kinetic bombardments, high-yield explosives, precision-guided drones. Each clip was a testament to cold efficiency. A human aircraft released a single missile. A compound the size of a Shari brood colony vanished in an inferno. Another video showed railguns firing slugs at hypersonic speed, piercing reinforced bunkers like soft clay. And then came the most chilling sequence. Footage from human orbital tests. Rods of tungsten, dropped from orbit, striking with the force of small suns. No antimatter, no exotic plasma, just gravity, metal, fire, Verth whispered. And yet, entire battlefields erased. Hashtag the Concord's doubt. Surely, rumbled a representative of the Vadari, whose massive body barely fit within his floating grav chair. If they possess such power, why are they not conquerors? Why do they not stride among the stars as warlords? That question hung heavily. It was Matriarch Elena the Heiress, her translucent wings folded tight, who answered. Perhaps they fear their own strength. Perhaps they lack the will for war. Verth's mandibles clattered. No, you misunderstand. They avoid war, because for them it would be too easy to win. Hashtag a people forged in fire. He leaned forward, desperation in his posture. You must understand what I witnessed. Humans have fought more wars in the last 5 millennia than most of our civilizations have in 50,000. They warred over land, over gods, over water, over pride. They fought with sticks, with bronze, with steel, with machines, and with fire from the sky. Images of trenches, of soldiers in gas masks, of fleets burning at sea flashed across the hollow. They perfected violence long before they perfected peace. Each conflict forged them harder, smarter, more ruthless. Their entire history is war distilled. The chamber shifted uncomfortably. Then why now? Asked a trembling voice from the insectoid core. Why do they not bring this legacy to us? Verth exhaled slowly, his thorax quivering. Because, counselors, they have learned the price. They have seen their cities burn, their children starve. They know the abyss too well. So they restrain themselves, not out of weakness, but out of mercy. Hashtag the demonstration. He switched the hollow again, this time to his own recording. A human officer, standing beside a weapon Verth could barely comprehend. Long barrels, rotating launchers, racks of munitions lined like teeth in a predator's maw. They invited me to a demonstration, Verth said, his voice almost breaking. I thought it a diplomatic show, a chance to prove themselves to an alien guest. But no, it was a lesson, a warning. The video played. A barren desert plain. A countdown. Then hell itself. The weapon unleashed a storm of projectiles, guided by machines with no need for rest or hesitation. Targets the size of Council starships were obliterated in seconds. The ground itself melted under the bombardment. They called this a conventional system, not nuclear, not orbital, just one weapon among thousands. Hashtag the human philosophy. The recording ended. Silence filled the chamber again. Ver-TH closed his secondary eyes, remembering the words the human general had spoken to him after the test. We do not seek war among the stars. The human had said, voice steady, eyes haunted. We have already fought the worst war imaginable against ourselves. If another species threatens us, we will defend ourselves. But if we unleashed everything we had, there would be no enemy left. Only ruins. That is not victory. That is extinction. They know, Ver-TH whispered, that if they ever unleash their full arsenal upon this galaxy, the Concord would not survive. None of US would. Hashtag the Council's dilemma. The chamber erupted in murmurs, fear cutting through the air like knives. Then we must destroy them now, before they grow stronger, shouted the Vadari delegate. You fool, Ellen hissed, her wings trembling. What you saw was only a fraction of their power. Do you think they would not retaliate? To strike them is to invite our own annihilation. The crystalline Drillians shivered, their bodies humming discordantly. Then what choice do we have, if they are so dangerous? We do what we have always done when confronted with forces beyond us. Ellen interrupted. We treat with them as equals, as allies, not enemies. Ver-TH's mandibles lowered. Yes, for if humanity ever ceases to restrain itself, if they ever decide war is their answer again, then no fleet, no army, no council will stop them. Hashtag the final warning. He straightened, his voice rising for the first time with a force born of desperation. You speak of strategies, of treaties, of containment. But hear me, Astra's containment is impossible star. They are predators who learn compassion only after drowning in their own blood. They carry fire in their veins. They smile, they build, they dream, but behind their eyes lies a memory of mushroom clouds and firestorms. The hollow shifted one last time, an image of Earth, spinning peacefully in the void, its lights twinkling against night. Do not mistake their peace for weakness. They avoid war, because for them, war is not a struggle. It is slaughter, and they know it. Hashtag epilogue. Quiet terror. The chamber adjourned in silence, each species shaken to their core. Delegates whispered in hushed tones, not of strategies against humanity, but of appeasement, of alliances, of how to keep the Terrans content within their cradle of Earth. Ver-TH lingered as the hall emptied, staring at the hollow of the blue planet. He had once thought humans small, fragile things. But now he understood the truth. Humanity was not fragile. Humanity was a beast sleeping beneath a thin veil of civilization. And if it ever woke, if the stars ever forced it to bare its teeth again, the galaxy itself would burn.